So the SIP phone control is probably the most powerful control on RingRoost. What you can do with it is it allows you to register any SIP phone or either hard phone or soft phone and start making and receiving calls with that phone. So what you want to do is connect whatever number you want to ring this particular phone. And so what we're going to say is when we call this particular number, we're going to ring this particular SIP phone. So in order for the phone to ring, we need to do what's called SIP registration. I'll just show you a quick example using the soft phone Zoiper. So what we're going to do is under the domain, put this domain. Under the SIP user, we're going to put the username. Looks like we'll put the username here, the username here. Don't actually think I need it there. And then also the password. And then what we'll do is we'll click register and make sure we have the parameters right. Oh yes, prior to trying to register, we need to make sure we save our PBX. Otherwise, this SIP phone control would not have been saved. So let's try that again. Register. So there we can see it's registered. So we'll hit OK. And we'll see now that we can actually make a phone call anywhere we want. So I'll just call, for example. And I'm not going to follow through with that, but just so you can see how it calls. And we can also receive inbound calls on this particular phone number. And I'll show you how to do that real fast. So I'm going to dial that number. Sorry. That was a little static. Okay, so that's the basics of how this SIP phone works. So now as far as advanced features, again, you can register any SIP capable device, whether it's a hard phone or a soft phone, whatever you like. So as far as the features, a few things. So we can set an extension. The way the extension works, let's say we set this extension to 2. What we can do is if we have another SIP phone and we register this phone as well, we can pick up this phone and dial 2 and it'll automatically ring this phone. And this will be an internal RingRoost call, so it won't cost anything, which is nice. So that's the extension. Generally, you'll want to set an extension on each phone. So you can set the caller ID for the outbound. E911, I'll show how we set that up in a second. So the voicemail box, by default, what we can do is select a voicemail box, and any messages that, any calls that come in and are missed will be received by this box. So the way it works is messages will actually go into the voicemail box, but you need to set up a custom answering machine for this. So I'm going to just, in order to set up your voicemail, you need to pick up your phone, your SIP phone, and dial start.
Please record your message after the beep and then press pound.
Hi, please leave a message.
This is your recording.
Hi.
Recording saved.
So I'm going to save that recording. So now whenever anyone calls, I'm going to show you. I'm going to reject it, and I'll go to
Hi, please leave a message.
Hi, this is a message. Thanks. Bye for now. So I just left a message. And then so to check the message on the phone, you just need to pick up the phone and dial *98. And we'll be able to hear our messages.
Hi, this is a message. Thanks. Bye for now.
So
press 1 to skip message.
I'll delete that message. So that's the basics of how that works.
Press 1 to skip message.
Oops.
2 to replay message. 3 to delete message.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so that's the basics of that, of the voicemail box. Now we can actually record the call if we want to record, and if we do record it, the recordings will it'll be under here. Rings. This is the number of time the phone will ring prior to the SIP phone will ring prior to sending it to the voicemail or the next element, the next control. again, the SIP host. These are just for registering purposes. So for the speed dial, we can also do things like put in 1, 2, 3. This means we would just pick up the phone. If we press 1, 2, or 3, we could do something like bind this to a dial control and put a number in here. And we'll just automatically be sent to whatever number this is. So that's the speed dial. So those are all the basic controls. As far as the advanced controls, if you right-click and go into Properties, so what will happen sometimes is if you have a SIP phone that's behind a NAT, it'll cause issues. So you'll have to change this to yes. You'll notice it pretty quickly because you'll probably be able to make calls and you'll hear it ringing, but there won't be any audio. If that's the case, changing this to yes, save here, and saving your PBX is going to fix the problem 99% of the time. Direct media, leave this to no unless you know what you're doing. That just allows the media to flow outside of RingRoost. We do a lot of things to ensure the call is handled properly. So unless you know what you're doing, make sure that you just leave that to no. In-call features, if you want to be able to transfer the call, generally most phones will have the capability of transferring the call, so you want to do this on the phone side. If it does not, you can check these to on, and we will listen to the media stream for anyone pressing these digits, and then we'll initiate a transfer. But generally, most phones will have that ability. So codecs. As far as codecs, generally you're going to want to use ULAW. If you're in a really low bandwidth scenario, you can use G729, or if you know you need ALAW or GSM, you can use those. But generally set these to ULAW and ensure your SIP phone has the same settings. So most phones will have area where you can set the codec. So here you can see I only am allowing ULAW. So that's the way I would set it up if I'm using Zoiper or also a hard phone. So that's the basics of that. So as far as E911, what we need to do is, if you haven't already, you'll want to, under your numbers, you'll want to, I'll just show you an example of how to do this. So let's say you have a particular phone number. You'll want to go to E911 enabled. You'll want to put your address, all your information here, click verify, and set E911. Now, if you go back to your PBX, you probably need to refresh the PBX. What you'll see under this E911 is particular numbers, and you set whatever number that you have associated with the address. This way, if in the case that you're making an emergency call, this caller ID will be sent, and the emergency responders will have your address. So make sure you set that E911 as well. I think that's everything on the SIP phone control. It's really powerful functionality. Oh yeah, there's one other thing. So if you're using, oftentimes I see people doing something like this, and this will actually work. So if the phone isn't picked up, instead of going automatically to the voicemail, it'll go to this next control. So you could potentially do this, but it's probably better to just set up the voicemail with the SIP phone functionality. The other thing you can do is, let's say you have multiple phones. You could ring this particular phone first, then you could go and ring this one. If this didn't work, you could try dialing a cell phone. So you can string these together, and it'll flow on through if nobody picks up. You can also do something like this and ring two of the phones at the same time, and the first one to pick up will win the call. So that's the SIP phone control.